phase of the stack wrap utilizes our third and final track wrap. Now this, it goes from the middle of the top to the middle of the bottom, back up to the middle of the top. And it's what really secures the top wrap in place and keeps it from sliding down. So you start it like all the others. In the middle, again, we still have to watch our pressure, our wrinkles, and our spacing here. It's often useful in this circumstance to have a longer track wrap for this section. Otherwise, your spacing will have to be pretty wide, as shown here. And now I'll make my way back up. And I will make sure the Velcro lines up evenly. The important part is that it is not covering the knee, so it is clear. And I will secure with masking tape on the final layer. And that is how you apply stack wrap. To remove the stack wrap, we have to work in reverse, taking off the outer track wrap, then the top, then the bottom. Again, we don't want to re-roll it as we go. We're just going to be confident and swift. Take it off. And we can re-roll these later in a more secure environment. Bottom. And throughout this, I'm going to be checking my horse's behavior, making sure that he's still okay with me being down here and messing with his legs, just in case his mood decides to change at any moment. And if your horse is unfamiliar with bandaging, of course, remember that it's good to have a handler with you. And that is how you apply and remove a stack wrap. The next bandage I'll be demonstrating is a wound bandage. We use the wound bandage to protect wounds from dirt and debris, and also to prevent swelling. As with the standing wrap, the maximum time we can have this wrap on is for 12 hours. However, you should consult your veterinarian as to how frequently you should change it to keep the wound clean. The materials we'll use for this include an ointment, a non-stick Telfa pad, clean gauze, and your wrap. You will also want to put elastic on at the top and the bottom to keep debris out. When we are treating the wound, first we will make sure that we have cleaned it with a solution such as Novocaine or chlorhexidine. You could also use betadine, depending on what your veterinarian recommends. We will then put our chlorhexidine ointment on it using our non-stick Telfa pad. Now remember, to keep contamination out of the wound, we want to dip the pad into the ointment and not our fingers. Like so. I will now go over to my horse, watch his behavior. Go down and put the Telfa pad with the ointment over the wound, making sure that I cover all of it. I will then secure it by putting my clean gauze over it to keep it on. And I want to make sure that my clean gauze isn't too tight, but is tight enough to keep it on. And I'll make 2 or 3 laps. That is the first stage of the wound bandage. The second part of this wrap involves putting a standing wrap on top of our previous bandage. To do this, we'll use the same materials as with the standing wrap, and I want to make sure that I cup the fetlock a little to really secure the under bandage in place. And again, make sure that it's snug, has no wrinkles, and has even pressure to prevent cording. Now my track wrap. And pull out any wrinkles as you go. And as I'm bringing this track wrap around, I'm pulling to about half of its stretchability, as you should with any bandage. And I'm going to go to about half an inch of the pillow, and then work my way up. And doing about half an inch at the top. And roll back down so that the Velcro is not over the knee. And the Velcro lines up nicely, so I don't have to use masking tape, but if it wouldn't line up, I would have to use masking tape, as I did with my previous bandages. Now with a wound bandage, we're going to apply elasticon at the top and the bottom to keep debris out. Always make sure that your supplies are clean before you put them on. And elasticon is applied with half of it on the bandage and half of it on the horse's leg to create a seal between the horse's leg and the bandage. Just wrap it around like you did all the other wraps. And you can go one lap. And cut it with scissors. And press it down to make sure it's sealed on, like so. If the wound was closer to the fetlock, I would also put elasticon at the bottom, but to conserve materials for this video, I'm only applying it at the top for today. Now I want to remove the wound bandage. Working a backwards process is when you put it on. Gently take off the elasticon. And then swiftly take off your track wrap. Pillow. Then I'm going to place it to the side to re-roll it later. And then the king gauze and the telva pad. And at this point I would re-clean and assess the wound. And that is how you apply and remove a wound bandage. The last bandage I will be discussing is called a hoof bandage. We use it for an abscess or to protect a foot if the horse has lost a shoe. The materials we will use in an abscess bandage include ichthymol and a telva pad, a diaper, vet wrap, and duct tape to protect the diaper. If we just have a lost shoe, we will forego the ichthymol and telva pad. Before applying the hoof bandage, we want to make sure that the hoof has been picked out and has been soaked in a concoction of betadine solution, Epsom salt, and warm water for 15 to 20 minutes to help soften the hoof. We will then take our telva pad, and similarly to the chlorhexidine ointment, we will then dip it in the ichthymol solution and then place it on the hoof. However, Bex does not have an abscess, so I will not use ichthymol today. I will then go pick up Bex's hoof, apply the telva pad, And I will take my diaper and I will carefully apply it over the hoof. Making sure that it's all spread out and ready to go. I will then mold it to the horse's hoof. Like so. Now I will take my vet wrap. Now I will wrap it around the diaper to secure it in place. And just take your time as you go, make sure you get it right. And with the vet wrap, we want to be careful to make sure that we don't go over the cornet band, as this could cord the hoof and cut off circulation. But this vet wrap is designed to keep the bandage on and make it more secure. Look at that, add just enough. And then mold that down. Then I'm going to take my duct tape square that I had previously made. Now place it over the vet wrap to protect the hoof. Keep holes from being made in the bandage, and again I'm just going to mold this down. And again with the duct tape, I don't want it to cover the coronet band, because that could also cut off circulation. So now I'm going to check it. Do it here. There's a little bit of flap there. I'll just put it in. Bandage, and that is how you apply a hoof bandage. To remove the hoof bandage, you simply pick up the hoof again, and peel the duct tape back a little bit. And usually by peeling the duct tape back, you can gently remove the bandage fairly easily. If you need to, you can use scissors to cut lines down the side of the bandage to get it off. But see, it comes off. Now remove the telfer pad and set it back down on the ground. Now if we needed to continue treating the abscess, I'd make sure it's clean and soak it in the betadine solution, Epsom salt, and warm water solution again, and then reevaluate the wound. So today I've talked about polo bandages, standing bandages, stack bandages, injury bandages, and hoof bandages. Be sure to practice often because it will improve your skill. And be aware of the horse's limitations and attitudes at all times.